Before we start this video, I just want to say thank you guys so much for the support on the last video, as it really means a lot to me as someone who wants to make more D1 content for you guys to enjoy. Be sure to check out my Discord server and submit any ideas you guys want for the next video I make, and also be sure to check me out on Twitch. Links will be in the description. But most importantly, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So, as requested by you guys on my Discord, I got the idea to review and talk about the exotics in D1. And I'm going to start a series of reviews as to why certain exotics are good, bad, and whether or not another gun can do its job better. And as a player who's used the majority of exotics in this game, my goal is to show if an exotic is worth using in a crucible setting. I'm going to repeat that. Crucible setting. I'll mention if it's worth using in a PvE aspect as well, but mainly crucible. So to kick things off, we're going to talk about my favorite exotic in D1, and it's the First Curse. To get this gun, you have to get rank 5 with a gunsmith, complete the imprecation quest given to you by Banshee, boom, you get the gun. And we're going to start off talking about its base stats. It's a hard-hitting, slow-firing hand cannon. And I know you guys can read, so to me, it's more important to talk about its performance more so than just talk about its stats on screen. But we're definitely going to need to talk about its perks. Deadeye. When you aim down sights, you get a bonus to range, stability, and ADS speed. Simple shit. Triple tap. 3 headshots, 1 bullet back to your magazine. It's alright, because it's a hand cannon, and typically it takes 2 body shots and a headshot with this gun to kill an enemy. So it's kind of a niche perk, really. It's not really that amazing. In the middle, 3 perk selection on the gun. It's quick draw, lightweight, and speed reload. It's a no-brainer to use quick draw, as the other 2 perks are really redundant. Quick draw allows you to pull your gun out faster, and it's fucking great. Quick draw really makes this gun much more easily to use in a crucible setting. And now the main perk is its super clever name, clearly, the First Curse. The first precision kill refills your magazine, provides you the First Curse perk, which grants you incredible bonus to range, stability, until you reload the gun. It's a great perk, really, that shapes this gun to be really rewarding to get precision kills with it. It's and to be honest, it's the one thing that makes this gun much more redeemable as a ranged weapon, more so than a close quarters weapon, compared to its, counterpart, the Last Word. And really the best way to describe this gun is that it feels like a Destiny 2 hand cannon, but in D1. This gun really does remind me of D2 hand cannons, which I don't play D2 anymore, but it genuinely feels like it. Kind of reminds me of like Sturm from D2. But in any case, let's talk about the bad before we get into the good aspects, because there are some drawbacks. As much as I really like this gun, you can't ignore the fact that there are some problems with it. Now, a couple drawbacks with the gun is that, for one, it's the slower RPM, hard-hitting hand cannons, which lose to a lot of other general just IS Luna, Palindrome archetype hand cannons, thus meaning that this gun struggles to compete with its time to kill. It does make up for it with range and good target acquisition, but still is a drawback nonetheless. If you are still able to lose gunfights due to your gun not being able to shoot fast enough, and especially in Crucible, compared to like all other hand cannons like IS Luna, Palindrome like I mentioned, then in the end it's really something that hurts the gun. And I'd imagine that if this gun was like the IS Luna archetype, it probably would be so much better compared to its better counterparts. Another thing that could be pretty hindering with the weapon is that to get this gun to be at its best, you really have to get the perk going. And now what I mean is that without the perk, this gun isn't really able to get much better until you get a precision kill. Without the First Curse perk, it really struggles to compete with range, and the kick of the gun can be very distracting, especially in 1v1 engagements. It's a weapon that to me still requires the player to work a little harder compared to other exotic weapons that have their perks already put into the weapon. For example, Hawkmoon with Luck in the Chamber bullets, or, something of that category. It's something that truly weakens a player if they cannot get used to the gun without the perk active. It really does force the player to work a lot more harder compared to other people that use exotics, especially, like I mentioned earlier, Hawkmoon and other exotic weapons that have the perk already built into the weapon. And that's something to me that is a very big drawback with this gun. One last thing that I think is pretty bad with the weapon is the combination of secondaries feel pretty weak. See, unlike scout rifles or pulse rifles, which combine with shotguns, sidearms, or fusion rifles pretty well, in my opinion, this gun only works well with snipers to encouch people. Also, encouching is just a term in the D1 community, which means just to body shot someone with a sniper, then finishing them off with like a hand cannon shot. And to me, this isn't really something that makes or breaks this gun, but something that you have to consider in Crucible, especially when it comes to secondary weapons being a staple in loadouts. To me, every time I use the first curse, I feel like I have to use a sniper. I don't know if it's just force of habit, but it feels like every time I use the first curse with something else like a shotgun or a fusion rifle, it feels completely off, and it feels like it only handicaps me in a way that if I don't use a sniper with this gun, it does not feel like it's as consistent as it is. Especially, like, you have to think of it like this. Getting the perk to proc, the first curse perk, you could body shot someone and then headshot them to clean them off, and it still activates the perk. You don't have to get a kill with just the hand cannon itself to get the perk activated, right? So to me, snipers feel the most consistent with this gun, and in the end, that also kind of hurts it in a way because you can't really use it with any other gun to make it work as well as something as a sniper does. Now, I want to talk about how much of an increase does the perk provide. Well, to test this, I used a friend in a private match to gauge what is the damage drop-off for this weapon with and without the perk. So what we did was we used the heavy ammo to show the distance in which damage drop-off occurs, first without the perk, and then with it. And these are the results. Now, you might be wondering, Gabe, why would you use a Titan for this? The reason I chose a Titan for this is because Titans boast the most armor/health in-game, leaving them prone to living through certain Crucible scenarios that other characters wouldn't. A max armor Titan has between 205 to 210 health, which means that with a hand cannon, you'd have to get at least 370 damage headshots to kill a max armor Titan. But I also want to mention that this is also in theory more so than practicality, because let's face it, just because you test it doesn't mean it's always going to have the same results, especially in Crucible. But it's something worth talking about, especially when it comes to hand cannons in particular. Now, the reason we're also comparing an IS Luna to the first curse is because the IS Luna Palindrome archetype have a faster time to kill, but the first curse does technically have more range and target acquisition with the perk active. And since the first curse boasts a good kill range, since it's a hard-hitting hand cannon, you can hit a headshot and 2 body shots to get a kill. Obviously, it depends on the specific range drop-offs, but especially with the perk active, it becomes a heavy hitter to medium to long ranges. Now, the last thing I want to talk about with the first curse is why it's my favorite exotic, and as well as one of the more fun ones that I enjoy in Crucible especially. For starters, I think it's truly one of the most fair exotics in the game. Like I said in the start of the video, this gun doesn't become broken or like overpowered when you have it already. It doesn't have like the exotic perk active when you use it, right? So it rewards someone that's able to be consistent. And I think that really, to me, speaks my language, especially someone who's been playing this game for as long as they have. The precision aim assist, the range, and the damage feels nice, especially with a hard-hitting hand cannon. It's my kind of gun that truly resonates with me. And it's one of the very few exotics in the game that I really appreciate compared to a lot of other people. Another thing that I really want to appreciate with the first curse is that it's one of those guns that really feels comfortable to use. Once you get used to the kick, once you get used to the perks, once you get used to the quick draw especially, it becomes a lot more fun to the average player. Like for me, I've played this game for too long, right? So I already know what I'm doing, especially in Crucible. But to someone else that, might just recently have gotten this gun or something like that, at first it's going to feel really rough because it's a hard-hitting hand cannon and you have to hit your shots. There's no way around it. If you're not accurate with this gun, then it will not reward you the same way it would to some other players. And to me, it really does help the average player become better and more concise and precise with gunplay. I really do appreciate this gun, and it really does mean a lot to me as a player who enjoys using a lot of different guns in this game, and I think overall I've become a better player using this gun especially. And it's made me get used to using hand cannons before I was good with hand cannons. So with all this said, the last thing I want to say is that this gun is great. It's not the best, it's not the worst, but it's one of the more fair and rewarding exotics that, to me, is the most fun in this game. And with all that being said, I appreciate everybody's support. It really does mean a lot to me. I hope to see you guys soon. I hope you enjoyed the video. And until then, take care. Peace.